My next guest is going to be fighting featherweight champion Cris Cyborg coming up here at Bellator 249 on October 15th. It is Arlene Blencowe joining me here on the program. Arlene, how's it going?
Good, thank you. Good to be over here.
Yeah. Yes, it's good to talk to you. I'm actually in Canada, but you're in North America. That's kind of what we're getting at here. But I was going to actually start there. How was the trip over?
It was good. I was only just saying it was actually very very quiet because obviously the world's somewhat shut down at the moment. So yeah, it was a very quiet trip. There was I think like 20 people on the flight over from Australia. So we had a lot of leg room.
I was just going to ask, did you get an extra seat where you could kind of sprawl out a little bit or no?
Yeah, well, we all did. So I flew over with my coach and my partner, and we all had, like a full row each. So I wiped down the seats and everything. I got to lay down and pretty much sleep the whole way. So I was very lucky.
Well, congratulations on getting this opportunity. Obviously, it must be cool to get to fight someone like Cris Cyborg, who's been a legend in the sport for a while. It seemed like this was inevitable after your last fight, but when did you actually sign the contract? Because I know Bellator, sometimes they're a little bit late, letting the rest of us know when the fights are actually booked.
Yeah. Well, we've known about this fight for a while. We were just sort of waiting. Obviously, things, Bellator was signing with CBS Sports, and then they wanted, obviously Cris Cyborg to headline that card. And so, yeah, we've known about it for a while. The contracts have been signed for a couple of months too. So, yeah, the announcement wasn't that long ago. But, yeah, we've known about the fight for quite some time now. So,
and I'm sure had your eye on Cris anyways as a potential opponent. I'm sure once she signed to Bellator, right? Like even had she not won the title, I mean, even so, I think it was inevitable you guys would have fought regardless of her last fight in winning the title. Now, the other question I want to know too, I mean, you mentioned it there, CBS Sports, Thursday night, bit of a historic event. Does that add a little bit more to this fight for you?
No, this fight's already knocking off 4 career goals in one fight. So yeah, we'll just add that to the equation. I'm not letting obviously the moment the pressure get to me. I've every fight on the Bellator under the Bellator banner has been a big fight for me, regardless of the opponent. I've taken every fight very, very seriously, and this is obviously a very, very big one, and I'm very stoked to be able to for it to be going across the line, especially 2020 and everything that's going on in the world at the moment. I'm feeling very, very blessed that I'm actually over here and able to fight this year.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. How was your training impacted early on with the COVID restrictions? I know for some fighters, they couldn't go to the gym. Others were having to do sort of the home workout stuff. How did you navigate through that?
Well, earlier in the year, I was over here actually training at Jackson Wink
cool.
to start fight camp. Yeah, so we were sort of working out, how I was going to go about this fight camp. And the plan originally was to, spend the time at Jackson Wink and, use Holly as a training partner, and obviously the knowledge of Coach Wink and Coach Jackson. But obviously COVID changed those plans. Australia did go into lockdown for a period there where the gyms and everything were closed, but I'm lucky enough to have a gym at my house in the garage. So my coaches accommodated my training, so I still had full training weeks. And then then obviously things opened back up again, so we've been back in the gym. And for the most part, the whole world was going through the same thing, with COVID. So we didn't know what was happening, but I still, used the time wisely. And, I've had more than ample preparation for this fight.
How much of a benefit was it to getting to work with Holly, not only just because, she's a former UFC champion, but also she fought Cris. I'm sure there's some good insight and game planning she could give you, heading into the fight.
Definitely. Obviously, Coach Wink, had a lot of input to help with, strategies going into this fight. More so for me, I said it to a few of my training partners and friends back at home. It was the time that I spent with Holly outside of, the gym that probably was more beneficial for me. We got to spend a lot of time outside of the gym just hanging out, and, I was hanging out with her friends too. And it was just cool to see the personal side of things. And, it just made me sort of reevaluate sort of how I, just putting people Holly's just a very normal, down to earth sort of person, and
right.
She's super cool. And it was cool to be able to hang out with her and spend time with her and just even sort of ask personal questions about her fighting and stuff. And she opened up to me. So it did help me with a lot of things I sort of questioned about my mental approach to fights and this and that. So Yeah.
Did she teach you any dance moves?
I'd still be over there learning if that was the case. I'm not a dancer at all. I'm not as clever as her.
She's pretty good. I got to give her credit. I've seen the TikTok videos and everything. So.
And Michelle Waterson. I think when I was over there, a few of the girls, TikTok was sort of the craze was just starting, but a few of the girls at the gym were getting the TikTok videos going. But I was like, yeah. I'm not coordinated enough for that.
No worries. I like the honesty, though. At least, like, I'm the same way. I can't really dance very well, so that makes two of us there. For those who might not know, what is the connection to Jackson Wink? How did you end up training there?
So what was it? 2015. I had my third Bellator fight at Windstar Casino, and I fought Gabby Holloway, and I came away with a win, but my wrestling was absolutely appalling, and on that card was a Jackson Wink fighter, and Coach Jackson and Chad Smith, the wrestling coach, was actually at that fight, and he pulled me aside post-fight and said, obviously complimented me on my striking, and just said, like, I'd love to get some work in with you, just to obviously get your wrestling on point, and, then, so that was, I'm trying to think, that was 2015. Early 2016, I actually took up the offer and went to Jackson's for a month and trained there. And, that was another big turning point, actually being on my, like in the gym for that month. Just, at that time training, John Jones, Holly had just come off the biggest win when that was after her knockout of Ronda Rousey. So, there was big things. Michelle Waterson, BJ Penn was there, Alistair Overeem, Cowboy was still training there then. Like, it was just so many UFC greats, and I was just like, wow, this is, it was awesome. So I spent the month there, and then, we've just, been in, like, close contact. Coach Wink has been in my corner the last couple of fights as well. So, I've got a very good relationship with them, and, obviously very grateful that a gym of such magnitude, open their doors to me and welcome me in and help me like they do.
Aside from Holly, who else did you get to work with in terms of bodies there? Like, were there certain training partners you trained with a little bit more than others? I know it's a big gym, so I'm sure you got a variety of, looks. Yeah,
well, it was a little bit hard this time because when I was over there in March, that, like I said, was when COVID was kicking off.
Right.
So, the gym was actually closing. So a lot of the sessions I did was with Holly or just one-on-ones with Coach Wink. So, I wasn't really obviously in fight camp for a fight. It hadn't been locked in or anything like that, but we were just preparing and, working. I was just there to sort of, decide what was happening when I finally get over there for fight camp. So touch base with the strength and conditioning coach and just had to be a bit more familiar with things, so I wasn't just going over there without a plan to start fight camp. But like I said, it was COVID sort of changed things for me, and I ended up having to do fight camp in Australia. But, I had an awesome camp and ended up training down at Freestyle MMA and used Alex Volkanovski. And
I was going to ask you about that. I saw the photo on Instagram, so that's cool. Yeah. I mean, you can't have a better look than him. I mean, he's the featherweight champ at UFC.
100%, yeah. And they're just, not even Alex, just the whole team. Like, I mean, I'm very lucky. My coaches at home anyway are all, I've got Tyson Pedro in my corner for this fight. And, James Tahuna is another one of my head coaches. Like, those two guys, are the, top of the game in their weight division and that. So the knowledge that they've got. But, I do have an awesome team in Australia. And, being based in Sydney, I've got access to, top-level coaching and training facilities. But, heading down to Wollongong was really, really good. Getting all the training in with such a big variety of high levels, and skilled featherweight and lightweight guys. And like I said just before, Alex being the UFC featherweight world champion, you're not going to get anyone better than that. And he was more than helpful with just, sharing his knowledge with me and pushing me.
And I know they're different style matchups, but how much of a benefit was it getting to fight Julia Budd, who's like a true featherweight, who had, just an incrediable winning streak, leading up to her last fight? Like, having that experience, I'm sure, is very valuable for a fight like this.
Oh, definitely. Even looking back at my career too, even, fighting Marlies Coonan in my second Bellator fight, like, I've never shied away from fighting opponents that...
Leslie Smith in your last fight, like, nothing but tough opponents. That's sort of obviously like probably a nice thing to have heading into this fight.
Oh, definitely. And I've done the same thing in my boxing career too. I will credit myself that I've taken fights, given away experience and this and that. But yeah, I don't think, like, obviously Cris has, achieved great things in this sport, but I think this is a really good matchup for me stylistically. Obviously I fought Julia, and people are saying, oh, she lost to Julia, who, obviously Cris Cyborg beat in the fourth round and stopped her. But, as I say, styles make fights.
Yeah, MMA math doesn't work, right? I mean, because you could be different on any night, right? Like,
100%. And I know that this fight, I've got what it takes to beat Cris. And if I turn up on the night, switched on. It's going to be a very dangerous fight for her.
How do you see the fight playing out? Because we've only seen Cris lose once in the last couple of years, and that was against Amanda Nunes, who's still undefeated. How do you see the fight unfolding?
Well, this is the thing. Obviously, that shocked the world, that fight. Amanda took that fight the same way that I'd said for years that people had to approach Cris in that way. It's, as soon as she senses fear, she's like a hunter. That's her prey. You can see it, and you saw it in the Julia fight. Once she saw that Julia was in trouble, she just sets up the level and she's in for the kill. With her fight with Amanda, I'm thinking that she should have walked away from that, dissecting it, thinking where she went wrong, and she would have worked on how she could have improved that. So to answer your question, obviously I'd like to see stand there and we bang it out. There's been a few mentions of her wanting to get her first submission victory, but who knows? I might get another submission victory. This is the thing, like you said, it's MMA. I work everything in my training week very, very hard. So it's not just striking, it's, wrestling, it's a ground game, it's everything. I make sure that I leave no stone unturned. So, I'm ready for wherever the fight takes me. If she thinks that she's going to take me to the ground, then she's got to get me there first. So,
excellent.
We'll see.
Last question before I let you go here. I know you got a lot of downtime. Like I mentioned, you're doing a lot of media. And by the way, thanks again for the time today. What is downtime looking like outside of that? I'm sure you're doing a little bit of, movement, getting around, getting a sweat, things like that. But are you watching any Netflix, or what are you doing to kind of pass the time? Because I know obviously it's a lot of downtime.
I'm actually reading. I picked this book here. Jodie Picoult. She's actually my favorite fictional author. I read a lot of obviously sporting autobiographies and this and that. But I like reading her stuff. Because she's just an awesome fictional author who goes into great depths into whichever subject and field she writes about. But I'm reading a lot at the moment. We went for a walk outside today. Just a bit of downtime. Obviously, mucking around on my phone. We watched a movie yesterday because we were in quarantine. But I'm just
what movie did you watch?
relaxed.
You can't just drop a little teaser like that. I got to know what you're watching.
Well, to be fair, you guys here in America. Oh, sorry, you're in Canada.
No worries. It's fine. It's kind of the same. We're similar cultures, Canada and the US.
The Netflix selection.
It's terrible, right?
Well, it's different to what's in America. In Australia. So we actually started watching one with Michelle Rodriguez, who plays a character that's a male.
Oh, okay.
I can't even remember what that was called now, but we actually turned that one off.
Gotcha.
And then we started another movie. We ended up turning that one off, but we end up watching, is it Beyond Zero? Life Below Zero.
Oh, cool. Okay. I haven't seen that one, but I've heard it.
It's not a movie. It's not a movie. It's a series. It's about people who live in Alaska who live off the grid.
Ah, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. So it's like a documentary type. But we watched that back in Australia, but you guys have got obviously the more updated season. So, Life Below Zero. Okay,
there you go. It gets 2 thumbs up. That other movie, which you couldn't name, 2 thumbs down. Fair enough. And the selection's actually even worse in Canada. Like I go to the US and I'm like, hey, they got like stuff we don't have here. So it's weird. I understand because they have like copyright rights and stuff. But it would be cool if we all had the same access. But what are you going to do? I'll tell you what, though, this is going to be a great fight coming up here October 15th, Bellator 249. Arlene, really appreciate the time. Just remind people where they can find you on social media. And if you got any sponsors or shout outs, the floor is yours.
Yep. So I'm under the Aussie Girl Anger Fist, Arlene Blencowe, Instagram and Facebook. And a shout out to my financial sponsors who have backed me for this fight. Muscle Bros, Glass Fencing, B and Bougie, Resolute TV, Three Kings Finance, and Triple X Industries, Southland's real estate agent.